And I think we are live. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I think we're live. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Here we go. All right, we are live. You're just staring at me. Hello. Good morning, everybody. We are live. Happy Monday. My bangs are crazy. Sometimes I wonder why I even did that. That's okay. Good morning. Happy Monday, everyone. Just gathering my thoughts here, going to record. Oh, good morning. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Let's hit the record button. Woo. Good morning. Rise and shine, everybody. Rise and shine. I hope that you had a wonderful weekend. It is Monday morning over here on the West Coast, probably Monday afternoon for everybody else across the world. And today we are full into spring, and oh, yeah, I'm just waking up here. Let's take a drink of coffee and good morning, rise and shine. Have you anchored in this morning? Anchored in to the Wellness Foundation's checklist in the group. Or if you haven't downloaded your guide, make sure to do so at my website, www.laceyjwatson.com. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and ding that bell so that you're notified of every time I go live. Make sure to do so. Today, I am going to be going live on TikTok, and we are going to be starting a Rumble channel. And you can find our afternoon geopolitical videos on Rumble and on our sister channel, Rise and Shine with Morning Moon. This is Wellness with Watson, and we're going to stick to non-political over here. If you're watching this live stream. As you can tell, I'm a little bit off today. I am. So, good morning, rise and shine. My name is Coach Lacey. If you haven't already anchored in with the Wellness Foundations, be sure to do so. So, today I want to talk about loneliness. Not the kind that passes with a quick text or checking in, with a family or friend or going to have coffee. But the kind of existential dread that sometimes we fall into in the quiet moments. It's like, so this weekend, it's like a existential loneliness that creeps in like fog, and it makes you question your entire place in this world. And this weekend, I just needed to rest. And so I put everything else on pause, and I just let myself have a do nothing weekend where I just clean my house and make my freshies and just kind of relax, right? And we just kind of chilled. Didn't even go to church. Like, we went on Thursday, we went all week. And so we just didn't need to do anything this weekend. But at the end of the day yesterday, I found myself in a moment of existential dread, so to speak. And it was like, why am I even doing some of these things, right? And I kept going back to this meme that I had posted earlier. It wasn't even a meme, it was just a saying that some of y'all have never been fake asked out as a child, and it shows. And I just went back to this memory of junior high where these girls that I had gone to elementary school with that I just loved and I always wanted to be a part. But for some reason, I was never good enough to be like they would include me, but they always made fun of me. I've always been made fun of. Like in my friend group in high school, we were like the Golden Girls, and they always would call me Rose. And like, I don't think they realize how much of an impact that had on me growing up, but it really affected me long term. And that, was in high school. So I'd already been used to that sort of, um, I guess, treatment from other girls throughout junior high. I actually switched junior highs because I was treated so badly um, in my eighth grade year. We had moved anyhow, so there was an opening, but had I wanted to stay, I would have stayed at the other junior high. But because they were so rotten to me, I gladly made the switch. And it made me think of this weekend, this poem that I connected deeply with when I was younger by Edgar Allan Poe, his poem Alone. And it starts with from a childhood's hour, I have not been as others were. I have not seen as others saw. And man, that line, it it plays in my head over and over again. And it hit me again this week like a thunderclap. Oh, it tattooed on me, but I wouldn't because it just that reaffirms that I'm alone. Because I'm not alone, right? But I've always felt different. And I've always felt like an outsider looking in. And I've always felt like I don't have, a solid group that I belong to. I've always been on the fringe. And I guess that is a solid group, but you know, I, I don't know. I I find myself in my moments of quiet when I stray and I'm not like tethered in. Um, I find myself drifting to the does anyone even care? Or does anyone even see me? Or why am I even doing this? Does this even matter? And this last week, I sat in a virtual Zoom room with some really powerful women who are wildly successful and wealthy and just have a lot going on. And they're, don't get me wrong, they're super kind. And there's, they're all very uplifting and, have nothing but nice things to say to me. Um, but I felt small, and I've been talking a lot about putting yourself in situations where you feel uncomfortable, and I did it myself, and I felt small. Um, not because of them, but because of the voice in my head whispering that I don't belong there. And then the same voice came up again when I tried to show my space during my declutter party in my own group. Um, I just felt so embarrassed and ashamed and vulnerable in a way that made me delete all my posts. And I don't usually do that. I don't usually do that. But because I'm so embarrassed by my small house and the colors that the walls are painted like and the tablecloth and like just little things. There's so many things that like I just want to change that just make me crazy, you know. Um, and right now we live in a 900 or so square foot house with three people and two animals, and it's very tiny and it's the smallest, it's like smallest place we've lived in really. And for the most expensive, I mean, we almost pay 2 grand a month for it. And, if we want to find somewhere else in our town, it's going to be way more. And so I know everybody's facing this, but for someone who's an entrepreneur that we don't, it's just, I I just felt really small this weekend, and I felt like um maybe if people saw my small house and my space that was cluttered up from the week, I've cleaned it since, of course, but then the goal is to give me my kitchen back, my dining room back, so we can eat at the dining room table again. And I'm not making all my freshies, but it's the reality, right? And so I had to really sit with my own thoughts and pray about it. And something shifted after I prayed about it. And God reminded me that I'm not alone. And my husband reminded me that I'm not alone. And I've never have been alone, and in the silence of my shame, you know, he whispered that you belong to me, and you're never alone, and remember all of your blessings. And my husband, just listened to me while I told him how I was feeling. And um, he reminded me that I was a child of God, and that we all feel this way. And it just like, how lucky am I to be so blessed to have a partner who will remind me of that. And for those of you who don't have that, you still have God, and you still have all your other blessings. You may not have a lot of people in your life, but when you start to look at the gratitude and count your blessings one by one, it's really quite a lot. I mean, even kings in Rome didn't have as much as we do in America now. Really, I mean, if you even just think about the plumbing that we have, we are so blessed, so very blessed. And that doesn't, that's not to say that we don't feel lonely sometimes. Um, and it can feel like we are small, but we all have our own path. We all have our journey and our story, and people show up in our lives exactly when they're supposed to. You know, everybody that's shown up in my life has shown up exactly when they're supposed to. Even you, if you're watching this, even you. Yes, you. I might not even know you, but if you're watching this, you're not here by accident. You found this video for a reason. And you might resonate with the way that I'm feeling, and I might know you and I might love you, and you have come into my life for a reason, and I might know you and I might love you, and I might have problems with you, and you might, we have come into each other's lives for a reason, but we all come into each other's lives for a reason. Oh boy. This is live. I'm dropping my, sorry, spilled, spilled, spilled some things here. Oh, we all show up for a reason. So we got to get up and we got to brush off the dust, brush off the coffee, brush off the coffee. Oops. Brush off. That wasn't too bad. Yeah. Brush it off. And if we can think outside of ourselves and go do something nice for someone else, or pray for someone else, or, just get outside and move our bodies, then our pain will ease. So like I was looking forward to doing this show today because it helps me give a good word. And I know that someone's watching it and enjoying, connecting and knowing that they're not alone. So that ache in our chests will be relieved if we just get outside of ourselves and realize it's not always about us. It's not all about us. It's not about me all the time. Because loneliness, um, when it's left unchecked, it becomes a lie that tells us that we're separate from other people and that we're separate from love. And it doesn't have to be the romantic type of love. There's all types of love. Um, Agape. The truth is that we are part of something sacred, and we were never meant to carry it all alone. You're never alone. You're never actually alone, ever. And you're certainly never meant to compare your life to someone else's. And I fall into that trap. I often find myself, you know, wishing I had things that I don't, and and that's okay. That's okay. It's okay. That's why community is so important, and that's why I believe in building community, and I believe in service and serving others and helping others and and getting rid of all of the things that don't serve us, including those stories that no longer serve us. And that's why I'm encouraging the things like the decluttering party and the circle of life check-in, because these help us to identify these areas where we're struggling. We all struggle. I struggle. My circle of life looks great right now, but I still struggle. We all struggle. So I want to encourage you guys to clear space to participate in the declutter party that's going on in the group this week, even if you're just creeping and watching, but if you would share your spaces and share your be vulnerable and know that we're here together um to just clean up the mess and we're not just physical beings, we're emotional beings, spiritual, relational, creative. And sometimes the we need to make space in not just our homes, but we need to make space in our hearts. And so it's time that we clear the space so that real blessings can flow in. And sometimes clearing the space feels lonely, and sometimes you will feel lonely. And even when you do feel lonely, you can remember that you're never alone. And that might not do it for you. That might be like, yeah, okay, well, I don't feel like that. Well, then you need to get outside and do something for someone else. And that will remind you that you're not alone. There's so many people on this earth that could use a helping hand, or a kind word. We can always, always find somebody to help. So get outside yourself, help others. And, if you're feeling alone, don't numb it out. Sit with that feeling. Sit with that feeling. Read Edgar Allan Poe's Alone, the poem Alone. It's such a great poem. And let it echo within you, because it's true for all of us. For all of us, we all feel alone every now and again. I mean, my grandfather had 18 brothers and sisters, and sometimes he even feels alone. I mean, like, and he's got tons of family checking on him all the time. So let that feeling simmer inside you and just honor it and say, I feel that. And it's okay. It's okay to be uncomfortable. It's where the growth happens. And talk to God out loud in your own way. Look, man, unless you're a complete atheist and you don't believe in anything higher than yourself, we all talk to God. So talk to God in your own way. You don't have to believe the same things I believe. I just share with you what I believe, because it's my testimony and it's what I believe. So do something kind for someone else without expecting a thing back. That will help you to anchor in and get outside yourself and get outside of the loneliness. Make sure to check in with the Daily Foundations checklist. Anchor in body, mind, spirit. You've got tools, use them. And remember, you're not less because of where you live or your bank account or your car. You're not behind. You're not behind. No matter where you're at, you are on holy ground, even if it's just laminate in a rented kitchen. It's holy ground. This is better than what any like Roman emperor could ever even imagine. I have plumbing. Like, it's beautiful. You have plumbing. And if you don't, you'll get there. Remember this. You are not behind. Take a deep breath, anchor into your daily wellness foundations checklist. Let's not miss the miracle because we're staring in the mess. Rise and shine, everyone. Rise and shine. Anchor in. If you haven't downloaded already, go to my website, www.laceyjwatson.com, and join the group Rise and Shine with Morning Moon. And if you're on TikTok, be sure to follow me, Morning Moon PNW. I am doing a special underground show there. So I will see you guys in the group or wherever. I hope you have a wonderful day. Ciao. See you tomorrow.